Hi everyone, today Stuart and I are back in London to record his Q1 2022 market update video.
Everyone, Stuart Elliott here, just giving you a bit of an update from Q1. Market sentiment for us across the region, across the globe, is exceptionally busy. If I break it down into locations more specifically, I could say the US and the UK are showing very similar trends. So high number of roles for us in both locations and a high number of quality work. What I would say is that we are getting much more retained opportunities there at the minute, which just shows you again that clients now are putting emphasis in terms of the quality of the work that's happening. If I then pan across to Asia Pacific, we're seeing a very similar trend in Singapore in terms of how busy we are right now. The only thing that I would say there is that Hong Kong is definitely a lot slower than Singapore. So we are naturally seeing Singapore being a little bit busier from some of the fallout that's happening from Hong Kong from the zero COVID policy. But hopefully with the restrictions currently changing in Hong Kong, we're thinking that that will start to pick up and hopefully we're going to see an end to all of the zero COVID that we've seen in Hong Kong of late. If I then sort of go down to South America, so I'm jumping around the world a little bit, Brazil, exceptionally busy for us down there at the moment. We're seeing high numbers of jobs. Everything we do there is on the retain side of things as well. So yeah, globally, in a nutshell, very busy, slight issue with Hong Kong and where it's at with its COVID strategy. In terms of trending roles at the moment, the biggest area that we can see globally across the HR community is talent acquisition. We're seeing a lot of companies now re-energise their talent acquisition team. That was decimated a little bit during the COVID crisis. It was starting to be rebuilt last year, and we're now seeing it sort of get back to its sort of full capacity and size, and even growing in some locations. But it's meant that in almost every hub that we're in, talent acquisition is probably the top role that we're looking for. I'm really pleased with HR Insights so far. We've had a number of different guests, from Sasha Scott, who's somebody that we've known for a long time now and everybody seems to enjoy listening to Jordan at the London Stock Exchange, who was really interesting in terms of the data insights, to Bianca Stringrini, who's based in Singapore. What surprised me about it actually is the number of responses that I've been receiving from people actually about how much they enjoy the topics of conversations that we're talking about, and also the fact that they're so relevant to what everyone's experiencing and going through. So we've got more guests lined up, so that's a wonderful place to be. But if anybody does have anybody else that they'd like to hear from or who would like to be part of the HR Insights, please let us know. We're always on the lookout for more guests. So in 2022, as I mentioned earlier on in terms of jobs, talent acquisition is high on everyone's priority list right now, not only from hiring people, but also in terms of their sort of key strategy. As you can imagine, if people are hiring more people, that means more people are moving around, and therefore people need to focus on not only their attraction strategy, but also their attrition strategy. Alongside that, the one thing that I've been hearing a lot more about from CHROs of late has been the phrase making data-driven decisions. And that has been something that I've not heard quite as much from over the last sort of 12 months. That has meant that there's been more pressure in terms of reward teams. HRIS as well is coming to the fore a little bit more. And CHROs are having to go to their board now with correct data, information on their people, where the board can then make relevant decisions. So two key things that I'm seeing at the moment. One is definitely on talent acquisition and talent attrition, and the other one then is on data. The Great Resignation is continuing. I think again some locations are seeing it a little bit more than others. I definitely think the US has been at the sort of the brunt of the Great Resignation. The UK I think is following through right now. But the key piece of advice to everybody is if you're then rehiring roles, make sure that your process and onboarding is completely slick. too many times right now we're seeing clients that just take too long in terms of the interview process. So we start with the first interview, that seems to go really well, and then we see a huge delay between the sort of second, third and fourth stages. Some of you might raise your eyebrows at sort of me saying third and fourth stages, but it's common. We even see fifth and sixth stages in a lot of places. So anybody that can look at how they do their onboarding right now and how they can streamline that process would be 100% ahead of the game. Second piece of advice that I give in terms of the sort of the Great Resignation is just making sure that you understand the whole economics of what's happening at the moment. In almost every location that we're in, we're seeing inflation at record levels. That's making it really difficult for companies because obviously there's a huge economic squeeze on candidates. That means that they want to earn more money. That means that they're more likely to sort of move on. It also means that salaries are going to be rising. It means that clients are going to be maybe slightly surprised about what candidates are looking for. So before you go into any process, make sure that you're fully aware of what you need to pay should you replace somebody in a role. It's difficult, it really is at the moment, because there are a number of different factors that are affecting this process. But with the right advice, there are still really good people out there, and you just need to make sure that you're positioning the salary correctly. Thanks everyone for watching. If you have any questions or if there's anything that you would like me to answer, please feel free to get in touch with me. My email address is se@elliottScotthr.com. Thanks everyone. Bye bye.